Have you ever noticed that certain phrases enter the lexicon? You start to hear them a lot, everywhere. Somebody starts saying something that you know you've heard on television, the radio, you've heard it in the grocery store. One of the phrases I got very tired of actually after a while was, at the end of the day. I was always hearing somebody say, at the end of the day. And at the end of the day roughly meant that, look, whatever we're talking about here, whatever we're arguing about, at the end of the day means here's what we should think. Here is what is most important. It should be the priority. Let me give you an example. Let's take a Little League coach, okay? He's one of the fathers, and he's with the other parents, and the team keeps losing and losing and losing. So he's meeting with the parents, and they're talking about where they're losing, and he listens and he talks, and finally he says, look, at the end of the day, what's most important is that these kids have fun and that everybody gets to play. See, he now has taken control of the discussion and said what the priority is. Not all the parents agree with him, but they're probably going to go along with it because it's politically correct and it's the conventional wisdom. Again, it's okay, but I just heard too much of it. Now, what I'm hearing about way too much is he's under the radar, or he was under my radar, or he was off my radar. Well, what do you mean by he's off my radar? The person means, that person escaped my notice. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't really notice that this person was acting this way, doing these things, saying these things. Now, this can be true of friends. It can be true of neighbors. It can be true of, say, the police. It can be true of, say, the FBI. And I have heard with this man who was the leading suspect and is the suspect in the Fort Hood killings, I'm hearing from many, many people who worked with him, who he worked for, who went to school with him, who he was accountable to, that he was under the radar, that he was under their radar, that he was off the radar. Well, my question is, why was he off the radar? Shouldn't he have been on the radar? Shouldn't have people been paying attention to what he was doing and saying? I think this is a very important point with respect to this man who is the suspect. The more evidence that comes through, the more it is clear that he was saying and doing things that should have brought a lot of concern to the people he was responsible for and to, and the people who should be noticing when somebody displays a certain attitude or pattern of behavior that should be brought to the attention of the proper officials. So in the end, I can say that whether he was on the radar or off the radar, these people cannot absolve themselves of blame. And there are important lessons to learn from this case in terms of keeping people on your radar.